Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Manufacturing Alliance podcast. As always, I'm your host, Tony Demakis, and we are coming from Alliance Specialties and Alliance Laser Sales, where we are mold makers that don't build molds. It's ridiculous. I know we say it over and over again. What does that even mean? What it means is we do all the things that mold makers don't have time to do. We don't want to be in competition with you, the mold maker, right? So we have the professionals, we have the skill set, but it's not what we want to do. We want to do all the other things that you need help with: polishing, laser welding, laser engraving, hot runner repair. What did I forget? Preventative mold maintenance, machining, and we also make and sell a line of laser welding and laser engraving equipment here in the United States. We make it out of our Prairie Grove Laser Development Center, which we're really excited about. We've got a couple of new things coming for this year. That's going to give you the Alliance advantage. That's just a small teaser of what is to come. What else do we have coming up? We have NPE coming up. This is the show that everybody is gearing up for. This is the monster. And so what we want you to do is we want you to come out and join us. There is a QR code on this side, right? There, right there. If you scan that QR code, you can get in for free. And that's what everybody wants, right? These trade shows are awesome, but sometimes they can be expensive. So if we can eliminate some of that cost for you, we would love to. It's going to be in Orlando, Florida. I have something amazing that I want to tell you that I can't tell you. It's killing me. It's going to be worth the wait. It's going to be amazing. That's all I can say without getting in any trouble. So I am one of those people that asks for forgiveness instead of permission, but in this case, that would be a bad idea. So you're just going to have to trust me and keep following us on LinkedIn and all the social medias. It is going to be very, very, very much well worth it. I think other than that, there's not much else other than to jump into what's happening. Oh, what I should say is, if this seems like it's edited poorly and maybe we should have taken out some of the stuff, you're probably right. But that's the danger of doing a live show, right? When we are live and talking about it right now, you're not going to have a chance to make corrections. And that's okay, because what we really want is to engage with you, the person that's listening and watching. And so that's why this is live, because we're going to talk about different topics. We're going to dig into some heavy conversations. And if you want to add to that, you want to be part of the conversation, then please, please, please do that, right? Don't wait till the end and go, I wish I could have asked a question, because now you can, right? If you have a comment, you want to grow the experience, or there's something that you want to talk about that we're not covering, please add it to the chat. On top of that, everybody's looking for marketing experience and getting your name out there. And this is the easiest way. All you have to do is put your company name and say that you're hello in the chat, whether you're on LinkedIn or YouTube or Facebook or whatever that looks like. And we will give you a shout out and say thank you. Thank you for being part of the show and what we're doing here today. So let's take a big breath. We're back. It's been a hot minute since we've done this. We've had some shows in between, but I am excited for today because, I'm going to say we have a podcast professional. That's how I'm going to put it. She's actually laughing at me right now already, which is a great way to start things. But Shae has been doing her own podcast for quite some time, The Manufacturing Muscle. You guys have probably seen that. You've probably watched it more than you've watched this. So it should probably be reversed. I should be doing that show to get some attention for us. But hey, we're going to, hopefully in the future, we can make that happen. But right now, this is what this looks like. And so Shae is also part of the HEH Group, and I'm going to bring her in now. Shae is here. Welcome to the ridiculousness that we call the Manufacturing Alliance.
You know what? I love the intro. Thank you so much for having me.
Sure. I'm glad that you're here and we were finally able to get this going and connect. We've chatted back and forth a little bit. Our schedule is busy. Your schedule is busy. A lot of stuff going on in the Shae world, which is great.
Yes. It has been Quite the busy year to start, as some people may have known that listen to me or hear me talk on other podcasts and stuff. I have my full-time job with the HEH Group. I'm getting my MBA right now. I'm also a bodybuilder and I have a podcast. Let alone I have lots of other things going on too outside of that that I like to get endeavors in. I love my dogs. Um, everything. Got lots going on. So, but
You were
it's been
just
a good
on
year to start.
vacation.
I just went on vacation. Yes, I got back like what? About 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
lots of things in the Shea world, and I don't think it's gonna slow down for you anytime soon, right? Now you have all kinds of planning to do, you got all kinds of other things. It's gonna be the year of Shea.
I hope it doesn't slow down. If there's one thing I love is just like busyness and being in the chaos, and I love that. I thrive under that kind of pressure and all types of things to do, so pile it on. I'll get it done.
When you say that, right? When you say you thrive in the pressure and the chaos, tell me what you mean about that, because I kind of resonate with it and people think I'm a little bit nuts. But what does that look like for you when you say that you thrive under the pressure and the chaos?
So I think there's a little bit more even to it. So I tell, like, really, I tell everybody I was a competitive gymnast and cheerleader my whole life. And if you were in that sport, you know that it requires, at least when I was growing up, 5 to 6 hours a day training 6 days a week. So when you go from being a full-time athlete to and being in school all through your kindergarten all the way through high school and even in college, then once you get out and you like just have your full-time job, you're like, why am I sitting at home for 6 hours? That's crazy to me. I'm usually
Right.
in the gym training or I'm doing something. And so because my brain is just so used to and I'm so used to doing things and always trying to be better and trying to get the next skill or trying to perfect something or whatever. I love finding new passions and new things like that that force me to not just sit on my couch for 6 hours. So, like I had mentioned earlier, the bodybuilding, the podcast, school. And when I have a lot of things to do, I'm really good at like organizing them and like timing things out to make sure I'm productive.
Sure.
Love being productive. And that kind of gives me like that feeling of like being a competitive nature and getting things done. And I'm definitely like somebody that likes checking things off the list or like feeling accomplished about something. So piling things on my plate and finding a way to organize them and finding a way to enjoy all of them. I love that.
Yeah, why did you get out of gymnastics?
So actually, it's a pretty intense story. I think I've told it like maybe once or twice publicly, but I'll tell you the shortest version, and then we can go from there if you have any questions. But
Sure.
so in high school, I wanted to be an attorney, and so actually, I knew that since I was like 8 years old. I told everybody I wanted to be a sports agent. I love my I'm a my dad and I'd watch football on Sunday, and I wanted to be an agent for the NFL. So
Sure.
to do that, you got to go to law school. So when I was in high school, my parents and I made the decision to put me into full-time college starting my junior year. So my junior and senior year, I was able to go to college full time while also getting stuff done at the high school. So when I graduated from high school, I had my associate's degree and I had my diploma. So I
So
went right in.
you
Go ahead.
went junior high, high school slash college,
Yep.
and still did all the other stuff.
Yes. Yes. So then once I got to college, I had 2 years left for my bachelor's degree because the whole goal of this was like, law school's 3 years. So I wanted to be out and making money and making a name for myself by the time I was 23. The only way to do that, or I'm sorry, it was more like 22, 21. But the only way to do that was to then fast track my educational path in high school. And that helped save a ton of money, which is something that
Sure.
I love talking to like young kids about is finding different ways to save money if they're college. So once I got into college, I was really mostly focused on academics. I was like, you know what? I'm a junior now, technically. I have 2 years of school left. I'm going to be in the workforce. I need to do the best that I can in school. And so I went to Cleveland State. They accepted all of my credits from my high school work that I did, and we called it College Credit Plus. They accepted all my credits, so I came in as a full junior. Some schools wouldn't do that, and they didn't have a gymnastics team, and they didn't have a competitive cheerleading team, but they did have like a sideline cheerleading team for basketball.
Hmm.
And I wasn't gonna do it, but my mom kind of encouraged me, and I met some people that were on the team and some people that I knew of, just growing up in the cheerleading world, and so joined the team, and then in 2018, I got dropped out of a stunt, and basically tore broke anything that I could in my leg from my knee down. That resulted in 2 major reconstructive surgeries. I ended up developing a nerve disorder from the intense injury, had to have multiple surgeries after that to just even function normal. I mean, anybody that would know me back in 2018, 19, 20 through to 21, I couldn't walk. I was on a scooter all the time, still going to work, still doing anything that I could. And so, unfortunately, with the injury that I sustained and the surgeries that I've had to make myself functional again, um, I'm no longer allowed to flip and twist and lift and catch people and things like that. So I do coach a little bit. I started coaching when I was 13, so it's kind of hard to like get out of that. So I coach a little bit of tumbling on the weekends, just like the younger kids, and then that's how I got into bodybuilding because that was kind of one of the things that well, they still told me I couldn't do it. They're like, "There's no way you're going to be able to do all this stuff," and I'm
Mm.
like, challenge me. So
Oh my
that's kind of
gosh.
how I got into, bodybuilding, and yeah, so that was a really long story on why I stopped, competitive sports, but that's the whole thing in a nutshell.
But I think I mean, I don't think it's a very long story. I think it's an appropriate length story to help tell your story, right? And
Right.
um it makes sense when you realize how driven you are. Like that had to come from
Thank you.
somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And that like that desire to keep fighting and getting better and improving and not, I feel like I can relate to you when somebody says, you can't do this, right? It's
Oh,
not going to work. And you're like, oh, okay, look out.
you're telling the wrong person. Yeah.
Right. Right. So, I joke, and this is a stupid thing, but like I typically get my hair cut every 2 weeks
Okay.
religiously. Jack, my son, and I go. We have our little mandate every 2 weeks. If it's 3 weeks, we're getting a little bit, if it's 4 weeks, like, look out. We both have some issue with that. And so I made the bad decision when we were in New Orleans on a mission trip to make a bet with a guy that was there. He's a Green Bay Packers fan, and he has like longer shoulder length hair. And I bet him that if the Bears sweep the Packers, he has to shave his head. And he bet me if the Packers sweep the Bears, I can't cut my hair for a year. And I was like, you're on.
No.
And so I lost. And here we are. So we are in month 2 of this experiment. And everybody from my barber to my wife to like best friends are like, you can't do this. You're going to go crazy. This is a disaster. And I was like, watch me. I'm going to suffer, but it's going to be a thing.
You're
So,
committed to it at that point. You are committed.
I mean, I've told enough people about it that if I don't do it, now I just look like a liar. And I can't do that. I mean, I'm a man of my word, right? If I say
I
I'm going to do
agree.
something, and now I go back on it, people are going to be like, I thought you couldn't cut your hair. I'm like, yeah, well, that was stupid. I'm not doing that.
No, I
What does
agree.
that
You either
say?
you gotta commit or not.
That's it, right? And
I
so
agree.
here we are. So for those of you that think like maybe Kelly kicked me out of the house and that's why I look like a homeless person, that's not the case. I lost a bet, and it's going to be what it's going to be. It's going to be fun.
That is hilarious. I respect the commitment to the bet, for sure. Absolutely.
I think it's going to be all in good fun. I'm sure I'm going to learn some things along the way. I'm going to, be able to break some things down. That's the way I like to look at stuff is, there's different challenges that we face in life, like falling out of a hold and destroying your whole lower body, right? Like there's things that you can pull out of that years down the line to help somebody else struggling with somebody. And now, not being able to cut your hair is different than like surgeries and broken bones. But I think either way, if you spend some time meditating on it and thinking on it, you can get some life lessons out of all of it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, in the time frame that all of this was happening, it was like I will say there was never a point where I was like, "Why me? Why me?"
Sure.
That's totally not my MO. But, you sit there and you think, "Man, I'm never gonna be able to walk like a normal person. I'm never gonna be able to run. What happens if I'm in a position where I'm in a parking lot and I get attacked and I can't run, can't defend myself?" You start thinking about these things and excuse me, I look back on a lot of those thoughts and a lot of that time because there was obviously a very, difficult period, both physically and mentally. And the physical side, unfortunately, is going to last forever, but um, where you're just down in the dumps. But finding that little reason, your why, and what's sticking to it, eventually, hopefully you motivate somebody because a lot of people that deal with like the pain, and now chronic pain, that I deal with, they don't do anything and they don't have
Right.
jobs. And
Right.
I think they, you know, s- I hope one day that I can feel a little more comfortable speaking about all of it, to hopefully motivate somebody that's in a similar position, especially when you're young, to just get out there and just try something. It's going to hurt regardless. I always tell
Yeah.
people, you are going to
Yeah.
be in pain whether you are sitting on your couch or whether you are at the
Yeah.
gym. So you might as well do something to benefit you. You know,
It's definitely a mindset. I mean, I think that goes with everything, like people showing up to work or challenging yourself with um, new opportunities at work or new jobs or whatever it is. Right. I broke my ankle playing softball. I should have never been playing softball. I don't even like baseball. I don't like softball, but I was new to the neighborhood. They invited us to play. I broke my ankle. So I still have issues. Like that
yeah,
was uh, 18 years ago and I still have issues, but every morning, the first quarter mile on the treadmill sucks. And then everything kind of loosens up and then, you work through it. And, at 46 years old, I feel okay. I feel better like from noon on. Like that morning part
right, right. The
is
morning's a little tough.
yeah, everything is stiff and broken. And, I find myself like having to stretch out my back more in between sets and do all that stuff. But like you said, you're either going to be sick at home, you're going to be hurt at home, you're going to be tired at home, or you can be bettering yourself with every opportunity you can get.
Exactly. Yeah. There's no reason to me that just never made any sense, You
Yeah.
you can suffer physically, but why let it pour over into other parts of your life, And I understand that's a difficult thing to do if in whether it's pain or you're dealing with something else, family stuff or there's so many things that you could be dealing with, but at the end of the day, if you let it pour over into other areas, it just keeps pouring. But you could make yourself happier and in a better mood if you find success in other areas in the time being.
It's a mindset, right? It's that
100%.
ability to find gratitude in those situations,
Yeah.
looking at it going, okay, God, what are you trying to teach me today? What am I supposed to take from this to be able to share with somebody else down the line, whether that's my kids, whether that's a friend, whether that's somebody at work that's going through something similar, whether it's a young person that you don't even know yet. Like, what is this thing that you've given me that I am to steward and give to somebody else?
It's actually interesting that you bring up faith because I would say probably about a year and a half ago, I was at service on Sunday, and they were talking about basically like gifts that you get
Yep.
from God, and you may not realize that they are gifts. And I remember there was a period of time where I was asking him, like, what is my, like, how can I serve people through you, Lord? Like, I'm asking this question. I'm trying
Yep.
to figure this out. And I went to the service, and the pastor was talking about how it might not be so clear. It might be that you are really good at comforting people, and that's why a lot of people around you are comforted by you. Or maybe there's a lot of people around you that feel motivated, and maybe your gift or your way to serve is to motivate others through things that you have been through. And so I definitely try and connect with other people, to help them do that, because I feel like, maybe that is. So I've kind of really leaned into that more, especially on the workout side. Um, but yeah, I mean, God gives battles to people he can handle them, and you just got to see through it.
I saw a comment or a meme or whatever it was. It was basically talking about Job and how like Job was this righteous man, right? And then he faced the worst challenges ever. And it was kind of like maybe you're on the same list as Job. Like maybe like God is using you as that person to say, "Go ahead, try and break her. Try and
Right.
break him. Go ahead. Watch what happens," right?
Yeah.
And I got so much kind of clarity out of that and just comfort that maybe I get to be on that team where it's like I get to be that representative that down the line, my story gets to be told in a way that, will bring God glory in that same regard. Now, I hope that it's not my house blowing up and, my kids
Yeah.
dying and my wife calling me a moron for not doing all these things. Like, I hope it's not to
Hope it's
that
not that. Yeah,
size, but it's just that same idea is there.
absolutely. I totally agree with that.
So why don't you? I mean, we talked a little bit about your background of not being in this industry, but why don't you tell us what HEH is, and we can dig into that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the HEH Group stands for Haggerty Eichele Haggerty. Our owners are not very creative with their naming, okay, but when they named it the HEH Group, I don't think that they thought at the time that it was going to end up as growing and as big as it is we are today. So,
And what does it
um,
look like today?
So I'll break down the whole thing. So
Okay.
in 1985, Mach and Eichele is started. They are a machine tool distributorship, and my grandfather started that company.
Okay.
And so then in 2000, I think it was 2008, 2009, I believe that time frame, my grandpa retired and my dad had stepped in. He'd been working under my grandpa, went to a hydromat apprenticeship program, which was one of the main lines they were selling at the time, and we still do today. And when he had taken over, he was looking to partner with a company to basically grow the capabilities. I mean, on a distribution side, you're selling equipment, right? So, like, you're not doing any automated systems or you don't have any of that engineering, powerhouse behind you. So he partnered with a company called Ultratech, who
Okay.
at the time, Don Haggerty and his two sons, Bob and Jim, they owned and they specialize in special and custom build equipment, turnkeys, automation, and like rebuild and retrofits of your existing machines. So they partnered, and both of those locations are in Akron, Ohio. And then in 2013, we acquired Kratz and Saunders, which is basically the Mach and Eichele of Ohio, but down in North Carolina. And they also sell equipment there. And then in 2017, we started a company called Advanced Spindle Technology. And we have a facility in Ohio and a facility in North Carolina where we rebuild pretty much any type of spindle besides an air spindle.
Okay.
And so once we had all those four companies, we started realizing like, wow, we could really lean on each other in ways. The distribution groups can lean on Ultratech, and the distribution groups they're in the CNC shops, they're in the shops that need spindle repairs, so we can connect it that way. So we kind of said the HEH group would really kind of pull everybody together. So each brand, because they've been around for quite some time, other than AST, has kind of built their own reputation, and that's what people know them as.
Sure.
So we have kept the brands different identities, and we call them that. They all have different social media pages and everything like that. But we're all under the HEH group, and we like our customers to understand that they are getting support from that entire umbrella. And so, just kind of one more thing to mention with that on the sales side at Mach and Eichele and Kratz and Saunders, we represent Mazak, Hydromat, Mitsubishi EDM only in the southern region, so North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. And then we also represent Mitutoyo, CMM's vision forming equipment, stuff on the metrology side. And we sell Fanuc CRX cobots. And then we do lots of integrating, whether it's machine tending, sorting, assembly, all different types of things on the automation side. That's a huge specialty for our team. So that's kind of an overview of the HEH group, and what that structure looks like.
So, just like you were overachieving and busy and everything as a youth, you're not straying far from that now.
No. No.
It's
I am
it's
still
fun though,
busy.
isn't it? It's I mean,
Oh,
it's I think it sounds like I think we're very similar in that regard. Like people ask, like Vanessa's nodding at me. Like how do you keep it all straight? How are you able to do all of these different things and still function and be happy and be relaxed? And I feel like what you said before was dead on when you said that like you thrive in the chaos.
yeah.
Um, being able to like things are coming at you, right? And it's almost like, I'm not Neo in the Matrix, but it kind of slows down a little bit. And now you know which things you actually need to tackle instead of like trying to project something that's a year away. Like for me, the idea of NPE being 3 years away was like, I'm not even thinking about this. Like,
Mhm.
don't even don't even bring it up. I know we have to go to the space draw, but it's 3 years. Like, how do I know what we're going to talk about in 3 years?
In
I
3
don't know
years.
what we're going to talk about in 6 weeks. So, like, let's figure out this month, this week, today, and then we'll worry about next month. Like, that's so, get away from me.
That is so funny. I would say, like, the chaos, it just seems normal to me. I don't, when I tell people, like, everything I'm doing or things like that or about the company, they're like, "Oh my god, that's so much." And I'm like, "Is it?" I guess it's perception, right? If that's what you
Right.
live in every day and that's what you
Right.
do, then that's your perception of that. Now I am definitely more of a long-term goal person.
Hmm.
So, like, I only set major goals, and I think sometimes I don't set those little goals, so sometimes I'm
Okay.
like, "Have I even done anything?" Have I even accomplished anything?"
What is your
Because
major
I don't
goal
I
right
don't
now?
celebrate the Say that again?
What is your major goal right now?
So, career-wise, my major goal is to eventually be a partner in the HEH Group.
Yeah.
I hope to buy into the company and find ownership in some department here. And that would be on the career side. Podcast wise, for manufacturing muscle, I really would like to grow the channel to where I have multiple hosts that host different types of shows on
Mm,
the manufacturing muscle podcast. So we would kind of be at the manufacturing muscle podcast, and then underneath manufacturing muscle would be just like different segments that different hosts run, and they do that, so kind of giving them a platform that's already there, and then also contributing to the mission statement behind manufacturing muscle. And life wise, bodybuilding is a huge focus for me, so
yeah.
I really want to get my pro card and bodybuilding and compete in a pro show. I'm going to be getting married next year, which I'm really excited about. Um, and yeah, so those are kind of the three big goals right now. And
That
however
sounds
long those take, they take.
that sounds, I mean, they all sound super exciting. I love the idea that you're having with the podcast. And, if I can help in any way, because we're trying to do the same thing. Like, Vanessa and I have talked for probably a year and a half. Like, what do we do to take that next step? Like, what is
Right.
that thing? How do we partner with other people that are doing this in the same space? And because, if I'm honest, this was I mean, I would love to hear why you started the manufacturing muscle, but for me, this was never like, how do I get famous? Right? This is not that. I came into the industry like you. My father started our company. A lot of people have heard this before. He made my life hell when I worked here. He gave me all the worst jobs, and he called it justification for higher education. And he always said, if you don't want to go to school, that's fine. You're going to work here. This is what you're going to do. I hated it. I couldn't wait to leave. And so I did. And eventually the prodigal son returns. But, I've been here for 7 years now. So I missed a huge segment of learning and training and all of those things. And I went to school for marketing and design, and um, had my own company for a little while doing that. So that was my strength. That was my focus. And because of that, I didn't know how to do anything in the shop. Like, I'm not going to go polish. I'm not going to go weld. Like, nobody wants me to help in that regard. There's like, Tony, we're swamped, but please go away. That's kind of what that looks. And I'm fine with it because we all have our own skill sets. So for me, this was a way for me to meet more people and get in touch with other mold makers and people in the industry and hear their stories and their pain points and what was happening in their lives, so that I can maybe figure out how I can help. What can I do to help grow U.S. manufacturing? I think there's a lot of stories that need to be told. Um, I don't want to focus on what I consider boring graphs and details and all that stuff. I want to hear the stories from people like you. Like, why are you in this? Like,
Yeah.
other owners, why are you in this? How did you get into it? What do you love about it? Where did you fail? How did you succeed? What are the tips and tricks that you want to give other people? And the stories behind the people that are actually making the things that matter. And how do you grow that? How do you put money behind that? What does that look like? I have no. No idea. I know how to market things, but how much effort and time and resources do you actually like go all in with that? Or do you just keep doing it as like a little hobby, fun thing that promotes Alliance and what we do? And I get to meet cool people like you and whoever else. And like Lindsay Diamond is on and she says hello from Falcon Plastics. And, I get to meet these awesome people and spend some time with them. Is that enough? I don't know.
That is funny. No, I agree. I mean, going back to kind of how you got into the industry, that after that injury that I kind of told earlier, that is kind of what shaped me into getting into manufacturing and to start with. So I couldn't go to law school because every time I would go to take an LSAT exam, I would be in so much pain I
Mm,
couldn't even focus on the exam.
sure.
And so it was just getting very challenging to do well on the exam, to even get a grade good enough to get into law school. And one thing I always loved growing up was um, talking with people, making connections with people.
Yep.
I've always been a creative kid, video camp, always performing and gymnastics and cheerleading, and also very technical, a very technical person. I even loved growing up. My dad and I would go in the barn and he would like give me the drill and I'd be so excited. He'd just say like, hold the drill. And I'd be like, okay. It was like it was great for me.
Yeah.
And so then once we kind of figured out that, the law thing wasn't maybe going to happen, my dad was like, "What?" And he would talk to me about business growing up. I mean, I think my first word was probably hydromat, and then second was probably cycle time. But so I kind of had a little bit of industry language. I mean, I wouldn't even say a little bit. I mean, like on a handful of words that I knew about
Sure.
the industry. But he's like, why don't you come in? We are looking for somebody to do social media and help our marketing manager and things
Yep.
like that. So came in, I did an interview with our marketing manager, Scott Mazon, and he has just taught me so much since then. I've learned so much in the industry. I go down and I learn how to run the robots and I spend time with our applications engineers. And I went from knowing absolutely nothing to knowing something.
Sure.
And one of the ways people always ask me, how did you uh, like learn some of the things that you've learned? And one of those is through the stuff I've done on social media.
Yep.
So if you go on my channel, you'll see, sorry, I have somebody calling me, but
It's okay. It's
I'll get like,
live. That's what
I
happens,
know,
right?
right?
Hey, it's fun.
But I'll get um, those 2 to 3 minute videos. Like I just recently did one on the Mazak Variaxis C600 machine. And, I kind of have a little bit of knowledge about the machine, but once I make a video on it, I'll never make a video about something that I don't research and I
Mm,
really get into it and ask the questions and do things like that. So that really helped me get into the industry. And then, darn it, you had said something else. You were talking about getting into the industry and then, oh, growing the podcast.
yeah.
Um, I started the podcast because I grew up in an industrial family and I didn't even know how cool manufacturing was. I mean, the
Right.
second I saw a machine tool cut a piece of metal, I was like hooked. And so I grew up in that family and I didn't even know how cool it was. And I want other people, other young kids, other kids in high school, kids in college to know that STEM fields and manufacturing is a great option. And one thing that I think the manufacturing industry has mistaken is everyone thinks it's perception of the industry. But
Mhm.
when you talk to these young kids, they don't have a perception. It's their parents that had the perception about the industry. These kids don't even know it exists. Like they have
Exactly.
no clue. I've been to a couple different schools. I'm working really closely with Mayfield High School in Northeast Ohio. I've posted about them multiple times. They have a great manufacturing trades program along with my alumni Chardon High School. They have what's called the crew, that they have a trades program. So I've been working with them, trying to help them get into shops and presentations there and do that kind of stuff. But if you ask them what's manufacturing, they're like,
Yeah.
they
And
don't
I
know.
think
So they don't have that perception. So it's really the
yeah.
exposure. And that was my focus with manufacturing muscle.
And I think that's absolutely true. Like, it's not even like correcting the wrong perception. There is no perception. They just
It's
think like parts exist, right?
yeah.
Uh, and that's so weird for me to be able to think about how that is. We talk to the AMBA and the different organizations, and one of the things that I keep joking about is like, how do you make manufacturing sexy? Like, how do you make it? I mean, how do you make it something that anybody wants to care about, right? Like nobody cared about custom made choppers, right? Nobody cared until there was a TV show that said, look how cool this is and look at the people that are actually doing it.
Yeah.
Nobody cared about duck whistles until Duck Dynasty had a show and they became like this monster thing, right? And I think my opinion is that, all the people that want to do something like this, like plastics industry and the AMBA and the NAMs of the world and all of those organizations, man, if they would pool some resources, the kind of like TV show, like a how it's made kind of TV show that actually shows people what this industry is and what it does could be amazing.
Oh,
Um,
totally.
I mean, the
Totally.
personalities, I don't know what's going on at your company, but the personalities we have here, like I can see the t-shirts. They would be ridiculous.
Oh my gosh, we have some awesome people that work for the HEH Group, so I'm sure we could pull some funny ones too. But I really just think, like, even when I go and I do talk to the kids about it, they're instantly interested. I
Yeah.
mean, we had a group of students here, back in December, and, one of our spindle repair technicians, John Johnson, he's a fantastic guy. He had the kids for, 10 minutes or so, and then the teacher called me after and was like, "Hey, 3 of our kids wanna be like the next future John Johnson, so, like, how do we make that happen?" And
Right.
it really is cool stuff. It's just showing kids that it happens and making the connection, right? They have phones in their hands. How do you think that phone was made?
Yeah.
And it's the different industries, right? So, like, in high school, the schools tell you, you gotta go to college and you gotta be a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant, or you gotta be in the medical field, whatever they're selling to you, or go get some useless major that'll pay you 20 grand a year and you can't even pay your student loans. That's a whole nother topic that I could get into. But you do
That'll
that,
be
but you don't
episode 2.
realize that, yeah, that might be a follow-up. What they don't realize is saying going into the medical field doesn't mean you have to be a nurse, doesn't mean you have to be a
Correct.
doctor, doesn't mean you have to be
Correct.
a PT. You can sell medical equipment. You can make medical equipment.
Right.
How do you think the dental drills go in your mouth? I have bone screws and a stimulator device in my body from my surgeries. Those are groundbreaking technology. I wouldn't even be able to walk today if it wasn't for my stimulator device. And who makes that is Abbott. They're a manufacturing company. So, I think in aerospace, not many people are going to end up as astronauts, but a lot of people can do some really cool things in aerospace shops and go
Absolutely.
to SpaceX and tour that and be a partner of them and be able to help them make their spaceships, things like that. And that is that whole thing that I'm trying to drive with manufacturing muscle and just helping these kids understand that there is options, in fields that you're interested in that might not have such a high burden of entry.
Right. And I think, you have the ability to do that in a different way, right? You're not a stodgy old man that's worn and been in the shop for a long time, right? You have a different perspective on what that looks like. You have a different relatability to the students that you're talking to, where they're going to listen to you in a different way than they would, like if my dad came to a school and started
Sure,
talking to people.
sure.
That's just a different thing. Like you are younger, you're fresher, you have a different energy and an attitude about what the opportunities are, and what that would look like. And I think that's what we need more of, is people actually telling the right story to the kids so that they can see that there are opportunities and options that, like you said earlier, they don't even know exist. That, like, nobody even knows this industry is there. There's a kid that eventually he's going to come work for us. I've already talked to him about it. His name is Miles, and he's in our youth group, and he is a Lego fanatic.
Oh,
Um,
Miles.
I mean, the
Me
kid is
too.
amazing. He made us our own ID1 Lego toy, like
No way.
with instructions and everything. It's amazing. And so now he's in the process of making his own Lego minifigures. And he's 17, 18 years old. He is working with different companies to source the materials. He's doing the designs. He's got people in Germany that are making parts for him. He's looking into, what does it look like for me to get my own plastic injection mold to be able to make some parts? Where could I get this done? Like, And nobody said, Miles, you should get into this. He just looked at the figures and went, there's other people that are making Lego figures. How are they doing it? How can I be a part of it? This is where my passion is. What does this look like?
That
Um,
is fantastic.
yeah, it's just so cool to be able to see somebody doing that and thriving in that way.
Yeah, and you also bring up a point with the Legos too, and this is something
Well,
that
he
I've
would
talked
tell you
about a
there's
few
no S.
times.
It's just Lego. It's like
Oh, yeah,
deer
yeah.
or
I am
goose.
totally
Yeah, yeah.
Miles, I
That's
apologize.
for
I am
Miles right
totally
there.
not
I
Lego.
don't care, but Miles, woo,
He
he
will tell
loses
you.
his stuff.
That is funny, that is funny. But I think another thing, and I've talked about this a couple times, is that kids grow up on their phones now.
Yep,
They don't grow up with Lego. They
yep.
don't grow up, outside trying to build little campfires and teepees and things that maybe some of us did that are listening, and those types of things. There's a woman named Sheila Gway, she, was on my podcast, and this is one thing that she talked about a lot was that, when she was growing up, they did a lot of those things that promoted more step by step thinking, that promoted here's the problem, here's the solution. Oh, you want to build an igloo? When was the last time you heard about a kid building an igloo? You know, like you want to build an igloo, how are you going to do that? You're going to need buckets, you're going to need this, you're going to need this amount of ice, you need this amount of time for it to freeze, you're going to pack them here, pack them there. And that type of thinking promotes STEM related fields, obviously, or at least step by step thinking, which leads into things like engineering or sales or managing things. And so they kind of already have that light experience a little bit. But a lot of kids now grow up on their phones and the screens, and that's also a huge advantage. We can't take away from that. They can probably program way faster than us.
Yep.
They could probably they could pick up a robot in seconds and get that thing moving faster than some of us. So there's definitely advantages, but I think sometimes some of those like handy skills are lacking in the younger generation because of that. I'm not saying all, but studies would show half to majority lack some of those skills when they're younger because of the technology at their fingertips when they're so young.
Yeah, it's just true. I mean, I don't think it's a knock. I think most kids this age range would agree that they would rather be inside on a screen than outside in the woods or
Right.
doing whatever. And that doesn't go for all kids, obviously, but there is a strong majority that that's what their skill set is. But
Yeah.
in fairness, I try to play Fortnite with my son and I suck at it. Like I
Oh,
can't
it's terrible.
I can't build a tower and stairs and climb the
No,
stupid thing. I can't even aim the gun. I end up shooting the floor. I am
I'm telling you,
miserable at it.
I can't even get the buttons straight.
Yeah,
Is my
I
my
suck.
fiance is a big Fortnite, Warzone guy, so he will play that, and one time he's like, "Why don't I teach you how to do it?" And I'm like, "Okay," just trying to be a team player, whatever. So I get on the thing, and he's, like, trying to tell me what to click. I'm like, "I can't." Like, I can't do it. I've never been a video game person, but, it's
Yeah,
fun. People like it.
yeah. Well, we didn't get to most of the topics that we wanted to talk about, but I do want to be respectful of your time. So
Well, we can go probably another, like, 5 more minutes. I think I have time. Yeah, we can go, like, another 5 minutes, I think, and then
okay.
we can.
If you are still with us, that's awesome. Thank you for still being with us. We do wrap up the show with a prayer at the end, so keep those in mind. And if you have any prayer requests, go ahead and put those in the comments. If you didn't want to say hello, this is more important than saying hello. So put that in the comments. So let's talk real quick about marketing, since that's like a passion of mine and yours. What does that look like for you? What are some of the tactics that you're utilizing to get HGH out, to get the manufacturing muscle out, to get your voice heard?
Yeah, so we have obviously everything starts with like a CRM system. We use HubSpot that
Okay.
allows us to keep all of our contacts, organize them by interest and different social campaigns and things like that. So I would definitely say if you're someone out there that does not have a CRM system, definitely get to that. And with that, we do email blasts to all of our customers. We do automated sequences where if they're interested in a certain thing, we'll put them in this drip campaign, things like that. We heavily utilize social media. We meet with our sales team to get them things that they need to be able to promote our business, line cards and customer appreciation packages and things like that. Anything that we can do to kind of leave that bark on the customer a little bit more. And we also, one thing that we've really tried to do is become a little bit of a thought leader in the
Mm,
manufacturing space by posting so much content
yep.
on both YouTube and LinkedIn where people are like, "Oh, I need to learn how to do some pocket milling on a Mazak. What can I do?" Type it in on YouTube, boom, our applications engineer, Mike Zilich, has a whole series on Mazak programming, one of the only ones, and people watch that, they love it, it's great, and so now they know next time, "Oh," it's that top of mind, top of mind, top of mind. We
Yep.
also do a ton of events. We love doing events at the HEH Group. We love hosting our customers. We do a football. We just did our pigskin kickoff event last August,
What's
which was
that?
huge for us. What do you say?
I said, "What's that?"
So we did just a big open house that was kinda so in Akron, that's where the Hall of Fame
Yeah.
is in Ohio, so we kind of that week that the Hall of Fame game and everything was going on, we had everybody in for a football-themed event. We had tons of machines on the floor doing demos, making footballs and bourbon ice makers and stuff on the machines. We had games, prizes, giving away Browns tickets, robots pouring people drinks, and all kinds of stuff. So that was a really great event. I think we had a little over 250 people there for the one in
Nice.
Ohio. And then we also brought in Dan Yonka, president of Mazak, and Mike Chico, the president of Fanic America, to speak, which they had fantastic presentations. Everybody really enjoyed those. And then down south at Crotts and Saunders, we did the same event the week after. Um, Dan was able to make it. Unfortunately, Mike was not, but another Fanic representative was there. James, he did a fantastic job. Again, machines, cool demos, robots, all that stuff. So we love hosting everybody, and that really allows people to understand what the HEH group is and
Sure.
make that personal connection with us. So that's kind of high level overview, but just some of the areas of marketing that we get into.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome because there's no shortage of things, right? It's like come up with an idea and just do it. And people ask, "How do you put together an event like this?" I my brain says it's really not that hard. Like people overcomplicate it and I think they scare themselves to death on how to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Like we do our big event is our golf outing every year. And
Okay.
I mean, it's an undertaking. I'm not going to say it's not a thing, but we usually have around 200 people out total
That's
between
awesome.
volunteers and golfers and everything else. But it's really like, okay, you want to do something, pick a date, pick a location, and invite people.
Yeah.
Those are the three
Boom.
steps, and
That is so
you're off and running. I mean, what are we going to do when we're there? I don't know. We'll run some machines. What do you want to make? I don't know. Let's make some footballs.
we'll do whatever. Yeah.
Uh, People like bourbon. Let's have some bourbon. Like
That's it.
the
Yeah, right.
the ideas kind of come as you let them, right?
Oh,
Naturally,
yeah.
like it just kind of flows. But if you sit there and you go, I have to have all of this planned before I even pick a date, you're going to have like it's paralysis.
It
So
is. It is.
you want to do something or a video, right? Oh, I got to get lights and I got to get a camera crew and I got to have a marketing person. I got to have a this and I got to have that. No, you have a phone, right? You have your
Exactly.
phone, take your
Yep.
phone, turn it around, take a video, post it.
That's
That's
what most of my, like, desk videos of me sitting at the desk, they're all shot with my phone.
yeah,
All of 'em. All of 'em. But our marketing manager, Scott Mazon, he is fantastic with event stuff. So, like, we'll be like, "Okay, we wanna do this event," and, you know, he'll let me know, "This is kinda what we're shooting for doing, and this is kind of areas that we wanna focus on." So, like, we always start with a huge idea, like, something that's we totally cannot do budget-wise, and, it's manufacturing, not the Cleveland Browns, right? So, um, we start with a huge idea and then we just work it back, work it back, work it back, work it back until it's something that we can logistically handle and something we think would be a good experience for our customers. But he does a fantastic job coming up with things and brainstorming that and really being the head organizer and leader of those events. So he does an awesome job. But we love events, love a good
yeah.
event.
That it reminds me of the thing that I can't talk about, and I can't wait till I can talk about
Yeah,
it.
I can't wait till
But
whatever
oh
this
my
is.
gosh, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. One of the things that I can say, it's about a different thing, is that you know, in that regard, like being unique in identifying yourself and being a difference maker, and what that looks like. I think it has to tie into who you are as a company and your core values, right? Not
Absolutely.
everything is going to work for every person. Like having a big event like the pigskin, whatever you called it, is
Yeah.
not going to be for every company, right? You have to
Right.
find your own thing and what that looks like. So one of the things that we're doing this year, because I mean, I went and saw the movie Sound of Freedom. I don't know if you saw it.
Yes, I
Um,
did.
it killed me. Like
Oh my
the
lord.
movie ended and I sat there going, okay, now what? Like,
Yeah.
what? We just go have a barbecue now because it's 4th of July? Like, what do I do? How can I do a thing? Like this is heartbreaking. And for those that don't know, that haven't seen it, it's a movie that's about human trafficking and it's a real story. I mean, there's probably some liberties taken. I wasn't there. But I look at a movie like that and I go, this is a reality in our world. What is it? I mean, how do we ignore it? What do we have to do in order to fix something like that?
Yeah.
Um, and so, after a couple of years, or was that a year ago? Maybe
Yeah.
after a while of thinking about it, I talked with my partner, and I said, "Listen, we give back. Our mission is to make a difference. What a better place to do that than in this field of things?" And
Yeah.
so, we talked for a while and we decided that because it's made in America, that means something to us. Every machine that we make and sell this year, a portion of those sales are going to go towards the Tim Tebow Foundation in putting an end to human trafficking,
That
because that's a
is
small thing that
fantastic.
we can do. Now, does that work for everybody? No, but for us, it's something that we can do, and we can tell that story to, if somebody's, I'm not saying we're going to sell more machines because of it. I'm not going to say that we're going to be more profitable because of it. And that's not the goal.
No.
But if
Right.
you're talking to the right customer and they say, what makes you guys different? When you say you want to make a difference, what does that look like? And we say, well, we're working with the Team Tebow Foundation to end human trafficking. If you decide to go with this, you're going to be able to make a difference in the same way. We want to
Yeah.
partner with you in doing that. Is it the end all be all? No. And you're going to have some customers that say, cool, I don't want to do that. Just give me the discount. And that's
Right.
fine too. But, for us, it was something that we could start it. Right. And it's a way for us to have a conversation about it, in a way that makes sense. Somebody could say, why did you choose to do that? Why do you want to do that? Holy cow, I'm making the longest post ever. Stop. Somehow I hit my phone and I look down, it's
Oh, it
recording.
just keeps going. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a thing for us, and I'm
That
sure
is
it's the same way
wonderful.
for
God
you
bless you
guys.
guys.
Yeah.
That is wonderful.
Um, you need to go
I
or you're
do.
never going to talk to me again. So
No, no, I will, but I do need to go.
I would love for us to be able to do a part two, or even continue the conversation on manufacturing muscle at some time if you're up for it.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but I mean, I think you're one of those new friends that I could have that, I could talk to forever.
I
And
know,
it
I
wouldn't
think we
get
could stay
boring.
on here
It'd
for
be great.
hours, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Solid hours. Easy.
Easy, easy.
Are are you gonna be at NPE with HGH and manufacturing muscle and everything else?
No, so our big show is IMTS, which is in September in
You'll be in
Chicago,
our
so we'll be
neighborhood.
there. Yep,
That's awesome.
that's where we will be.
Well, I look forward to seeing you in September then. Uh,
Yes.
when is that? What date is that?
Gosh, I don't even know that I've looked at the dates yet, to be honest. It's usually, like, early in September, like, maybe the 2nd week in September,
Okay.
um,
Well,
somewhere
our
around
golf outing is September 20th. So if
there.
you
Okay,
decide that you want to stick around a couple extra days, we would love to have you and the team come in and be part of the golf outing. We'll save you a spot or two.
thank you.
Lots of fun. Do you have any prayer requests for us before we cut out of here?
Um, I don't think so.
In my house in our small group, that means we have to pray for your suffering so that you have prayer requests later. But we won't do that
So
for
you have
you.
yeah, there
You
you go.
didn't know, so we won't do that to you. So I will. Let me pray for us real quick, and then I'll let you go. I promise. It'll be a
Absolutely.
short one. All right,
Yep.
Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. Thank you for my new friend Shae. Thank you for her courage to share her story and her struggles and her challenges and the pain that she's gone through, so that maybe other people can learn and grow from it and be encouraged through this conversation. We just pray that you would watch over us, that you would give us wisdom and guidance and strength, and that we could know that whatever it is that we're going through, you're in control of that. And we trust you and we love you. And it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Shae, thank you for finally making this happen. I really, really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
And just getting to know you and know that like you are inspiring me just with this conversation and with the things that you're doing and how you're getting involved and what that looks like. So thank you
Thank
for
you
all
very
that.
much. Thank you, thank you. Absolutely. Let's do a part 2, or I like we had previously talked, get you on my podcast and, keep it going. I really appreciate it.
All right. Have a good one.
Alright, thank you.
See ya.
Yep.
All right, that was Shae from HG. No, not HEH. HGH is something else that she doesn't use because she's a bodybuilder. HEH Group. So if you're looking for machines and things like that, she would be a tremendous resource. Her contact information will be in all the show notes. Um, and if you have not listened, listen to the Manufacturing Muscle. It's a lot of fun to listen to. She does a great job. They tell stories. I mean, it's really pretty good. And Michelle, one of our solution specialists here, she listened to one of them and she related so much to the conversation that they were having. And it's just great. It's great to have different voices and different faces for the industry, and just pushing all of that out all the time, right? Because if we don't tell the stories about what we're doing in manufacturing, then nobody else is going to tell them for us. That's just the reality. The news isn't going to tell the stories. They're definitely not going to promote how awesome plastic is. That's a given. So we have to do these things. We have to do these things as manufacturers. So, every chance you get on social media, get on LinkedIn, get on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, for goodness sake. I mean, we're not on TikTok, but if you want to do that, it's great for you. And just tell the stories about what's happening in your business, what's happening with your employees, what's happening with your team, what's happening in the world around you, and make a difference in some way. That is my big encouragement for you today. And we are going to wrap up and get out of here. It's going to be less than an hour. This is like the first time in a long time that we've done a show in less than an hour. I mean, I could keep talking for 2 more minutes, but nobody wants that. So on behalf of myself and Shae and HEH and the Manufacturing Muscle and Alliance Specialties and Alliance Laser Sales and the whole kit and caboodle, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Take care and God bless.